So yeah, by introducing the null in the 5 functions, we can be able to cancel anytime we want to cancel. So by putting fill in here, let's say I put in something and go to this part, and I don't want to do again, I can just cancel, right? I can just cancel from the beginning if I want to cancel. I come here, I can put in, let's say something, let's say the email address. I'm putting an email address, right? Enter, and I don't want to do it again, I can just cancel. Yeah, so the user can cancel or continue, right? So now that I've done all this, what is the next step? This stuff is working perfectly. Now remember that we're going to have to see details, right? So remember that we have to store the values, the details of the user in an object, and this object, the 2 functions are going to read from it. So first of all, let me just create the function there, function to display user details, display user details, right? So function display user details. Yeah. So this function is going to display the details of the user. So let's not forget our parenthesis, it's a function. Cool. So now these 2 functions will read from the object. So I have to declare the object, right? And it has to be on the global scope. So it shouldn't be inside here. I'm just going to commit this object to store details. Yeah, I'm just going to create an object there. So I'm going to name my object user details database. So let me just name it user details database. I'm just going to make it an empty object, right? So don't forget the let keyword. So let's user details database be empty first of all. So yeah. So now we have this user details database. Now after the user inputs username, everything works well, but now we want to save the value in the database. So we're just going to say after all this works, we want to save it in the database. It is very simple. You just add the value to the user details database. So we're going to have user details database to add to an object. You just put the square bracket and then put the name of the key that you want to have. The name of the key, yeah, since we're adding username, so we'll just give it user name. It's okay. So username, and then we are adding the value of username. So it's going to take the value username and then assign it to the key username. Cool. And we're good to go. So we're going to do the same thing for email. So it saves the email, right? It saves the email in the database too. So we'll do the same thing for the email. And then for the phone number, so we're just going to change it to email. I'm going to call email here. So email, yeah. And then we're going to do the same for the phone number, right? I'm going to have it here. Paste that, changes to phone number. And of course, we'll assign the value in phone number to the key. Yeah. So we're not going to do that for password and confirm password because we don't want the details, the user and password, like to be saved in the object. We don't want that. So be saved, right? Because we don't want to display that. So, or I can still save it and choose not to display. So let's just save it in the database, right? Let's save everything in the database, but I will not be displaying that. So password. Password. So it's not necessary to save confirm password because confirm password is still the same thing as password, right? So if you have the password already, you should know that the password is equal to the confirm password. So yeah, that is it. So I've added the values to the objects, right? So I'm just going to come down here and console.log the object before testing it. So I'll see if truly what I'm typing in, my inputs are being saved in the object. So user, display user, no, user. So I'm consoling.log the objects, right? So I just open my console down so I can see. So I don't have anything right here, but let me put in my details and see if it gets saved. So I am Vic. Gmail. To put in a password. Cool. And then it displays it. So you can see here that it has been saved in our objects, right? So you can see we have email, we have phone number, we have username, we have password, right? So I can just decide to add my confirm password there. So let's just add it, right? Just because I feel like. So let's just add it here. So here it's going to be confirm. And here it's going to be because confirm password. Yeah, cool. So everything works perfectly. So now I want to get the details and display it. So I can take this out. Don't need it. So for this function now, function displays the details. So for it to work, first of all, we have to add it to, we have to listen for event here. So we can just see details. I can do on click. Once the user clicks on it, I want to run this function, display user details. Of course, the parentheses. Yeah, so display user details. So I'm going to come here. So what should happen? What should happen when user clicks on it? I want everything in the object to be displayed. I want the user's details to be displayed when the user clicks on it. So I'm going to use alert for this, right? I'm going to use alert so that the details will be displayed at the top of the screen. Now I'm going to use backtick and $sign to make our work easier. So I'm just going to use the alert. I'm going to open the bracket and I'm going to say use my backtick, right? Backtick, and then I'm just going to type in what I want to be displayed. So your details, I want this as an heading. So your details, and then of course I'm going to put a line break, right? So it goes to a new line for me. 2 new lines should be cool. And then I'm going to put in username, right? Username. So I'm going to check for the value of username. So username, I'm going to put the $sign, put the curly braces to check my user data, that user details database for my use for the username value. So user details database dot username. So you use the dot key to get the value attached to that key. So user name, right? Remember what we used as the key. The keys have to be the same. So for username, we use username capital N and capital U, right? So yeah. So we're going to go here. So dot username. So dot username. I'm going to close that, which is already closed, and then I'm going to get a new line, right? A new line again. Let's go down. A new line, and I'm going to type phone number. So my $sign again to get the value. User details database dot phone number, right? Cool. So that will get the value of phone number. Then I want another line break, right? And then I'm going to get the email. Cool. Let's just go down. Email. So I'm going to get my $sign again. And yeah. So user details database dot email. Cool. So I'm going to get the value and display it. So I'm not going to add password and user password because I don't want that to be displayed, right? So yeah, this should work. So I'm just going to click here to fill in details and see my details. So I am Vic. Cool. Let's see details. So it says your details, username I am Vic, phone number undefined, inabilityvicky@gmail.com. So it says phone number undefined. So meaning that there's an error there, and I will need to structure this thing very well. So let me just take away this, right? Because I'm using backtick, so it's reading the space, right? So I'm just going to put them in a line. So yeah, we have our everything. Yeah, we have our code complete. So let's test that again. So let's have I am Vic as my username, my email address, Vicky at gmail.com. Let's have the phone number. Let's have the password. Let's have the password again. Oh, cool. Let's see the details. So it has username, I am Vic, phone number undefined, and my email. So phone number is not supposed to be undefined. So let's check the problem. So let's look at this place. So we have phone number, user details, database dot phone number. So to make things easier for us, let's compare. Let us look at the object, right? Open this, phone number equals to this, right? So I have my phone number there, but it's still undefined. So it means the problem is from here. And as you can see, this is small letter P instead of capital letter P. Cool. So It has refreshed, so we have to fill in details again. So let's fill in details. I am Vic, I believe. Vicky dot at gmail.com. Going to put in phone number. Going to put in password again, and then I'm going to say details. And yeah, everything works perfectly well. So yeah, we have our code running, we have our front end, and everything is so good. So now the next thing you need to do as a developer, you have to push your code to GitHub. So to push your code to GitHub, first of all, you have to go to your GitHub repository, right? So you have to go to GitHub, you open your GitHub account. So I'm using this GitHub account. Yeah. So I'm just going to open that up. I'm going to create a new repository. So if I create a new repository, I'm just going to give it a name. Let's just give it mini project tutorial. So let's just give it that. Or let's just say mini projects. That's okay. All right. So I'm just going to give it a name, and I'm not going to touch any of these. Don't touch here. Don't add readme file. Don't do anything. Just create the repository. So I've created the repository, and we have this. So the next thing you need to do, you have to go to your Visual Studio codes. Let's place it side by side. So we're going to be following these steps. So you're going to open a new terminal, new terminal. So yeah, so we're just going to copy and paste accordingly. So you're going to initialize Git in your code, right? Initialize it. After initializing it, you can now add a README, right? But for you to add the README, you have to first of all create a README file. So you can just do plus, no, that's a folder. So you can put plus, that's a capital letter, README dot MD. Capital letter dot MD. Yeah. Then you can just put in anything you want to put in there. So let's say mini project code Zuri training. Zuri training. So that's our README. So I can now come here. And do git add. I'm not going to do git add README because it's going to add only the README file. So I'm just going to put git. I'm just going to do git add. Why is it showing this way? So git add, yeah, and it's going to add all the files here, right? So git add. So if I do git status, right? It should be here. So I come here and do git status. I'm sure it's the way I opened. The way it is. The way I opened it's because I'm sharing the page. That's why it's displaying that. But see, so git status, I have these files, right? I've added all these files, so I can now git commit. So I'm going to git commit here. Git. I'm just going to have a message git commit. I'm following this. You see it here, git commit minus m, git commit minus m, and then just put in your message. So let's just say first commit, right? This is the first commit I'm making. So enter. So I have committed, right? After committing, I want to have everything pushed to my Git branch main. I don't want it to go to master. So I have to put this there. Cool. If I check Git branch now, it should give me should give me main, right? Cool. So it's a main. So I can now git push to this repository. So just copy this, right? Copy this. You first for add remotes. You can now add remote. I've added remotes, then just copy this and git push, and you're good to go. So yeah, so successful. I have git push. So if I refresh this now, I should have my codes here. Right. So these are my files. So the readme, index.html, scripts, style.js, style.css, and yeah, the readme, what I typed inside, mini projects. Oh, I didn't put the J, or they can always correct that later. So yeah, so after that, I can now publish this page, right? So let's say we ask you to submit the link to your public pages. You just, after pushing to GitHub, just come to settings. After clicking on settings, go to pages. After clicking on pages, then just click on none, put it in main, right? And then just click on save. No need for you to do any other thing, just save. And then you're just going to have to wait for some time for this to load up. It says your site is ready to publish, but if you click on this, it should show a 404 error because it takes some time for it to fully load, right? For it to be fully published. So as that is going on, basically we have done every single thing that we need for our project, right? We have met up with every single thing, all the requirements, the validation, the giving, the displaying users details on request, every single thing. We applied what we learned. We applied loops, we applied conditionals, we applied functions, we applied objects, we use our console.log, and it's really, really helped us. Just like when we're checking for our errors, we looked at the outputs of the objects to compare why our phone number was undefined, and other little errors that we came across along the way. And yeah, we successfully pushed our code to GitHub. After pushing our code to GitHub, we published the code, and that is what we're waiting for. And yeah, as you can see, I have refreshed, and our mini project is published successfully. So if we ask you to send in your published GitHub, a link to your published GitHub page, you just copy this link here. Simple copy, and then you can paste that. So that is what is needed. And yeah, that is simply how it works. So anytime you need your link to your page, just come to, let's say we have this. Oh yeah, let's just click on this. So let's say we have this, right? So anytime you want to see your GitHub pages, just go to settings, click on pages, and you always see it here. Thank you very, very much for attending, for listening to this section and learning a lot from it. See you next time. Bye.